So what is up, guys? Souter the Savage back, and you already know, if it's a Saints loss, I hate filming these. Lose to the Kansas City Chiefs, 32-29. There's a lot that I gotta get into for this game. As always, going to be doing a general recap, individual player stats, and of course, the final grade of the team. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright, so starting out with a general recap of the game. Starting out, so the Saints, we win the toss. We elect to defer. Chiefs get first ball, and we actually forced them to only make 5 plays on their drive as they make a quick punt. So I'm starting to feel pretty good about that. But as I know, once the Chiefs offense gets just the slightest spark, they completely explode. So I'm thinking it's only a matter of time till their offense gets going. So Drew Brees, in his first few snaps, he was nearly picked off, but we go 3 and out. Then the Chiefs, they also go on a very quick drive. Not quite a 3 and out, but you know, it was another quick drive. And then on our very next drive, we get to a 3rd and 5, and Drew Brees throws a pass for the sideline, and he gets intercepted. So I'm thinking, geez. I'm looking, and Brees is kind of changing up his play style. He really wants to go deep. He's feeling a lot more dangerous, not really relying on the short game. So this is what's getting me a little bit concerned. It's like, is Brees trying to prove that he's a different quarterback after his fractured ribs and collapsed lung? So then the Chiefs, on their next drive, they just went on a bit of a short drive, but it ended up in a touchdown. It was only 7 plays, but eventually a 3rd and 5. Patrick Mahomes connects with Tyreek Hill for the touchdown. So they're up 7-0, and then the Saints, once again, we go 3 and out. Then the Chiefs, they go on a very long drive, and they ended off with a 1-yard passing touchdown to Travis Kelce. So then we go 3 and out, and I'm thinking, Brees is just... Like, the issue with him right now is that he's playing extremely dangerous. He woke up like Baker Mayfield. He really just wants to prove himself. But I'm just saying, let's rely on a bit more of a run game. Keep going on with them short passes, and we could succeed. He's also missing a lot of passes, but I'll get into that later. But fortunately for us, we forced the Chiefs to go 3 and out. And so eventually, the drive is kind of more the same, where Brees is missing his passes. But then he connects with Emmanuel Sanders on a deep 51-yard pass. This was one of his best air passes I've seen, because that went at least 40 yards in the air. And I'm thinking, y'all see he's got no arm strength. He just barely uses it. And then eventually we get Taysom Hill in just to run the ball in for a touchdown. We kick the field goal and, kick the extra point. We force a punt after they go on a long drive. Then they force a punt on us. We force another punt. And then eventually we punt. And this led to a bit of a weird scenario. So after another 3 and out, we punt. And right now, McCole Hardman, he's not in the game. He took a pretty brutal hit from Marcus Williams. It was a shoulder-to-shoulder, but Marcus Williams decked Hardman on a recent play. It wasn't dirty at all, but anyways. So DeMarcus Robinson, he's in to return the punt. He's kind of running around. He's got the stiff arm. He's got the ball in one hand. Saints player, it's Robertson. He forces the ball out. And I'm yelling, jump on the ball. Ball's out. Jump into the end zone. Alex Anzalone, he's the last guy. But as he jumps on it, the ball goes out of bounds and in for a safety. Oh my God, this was an absolute game-changing play. I thought this would be it, but sadly no. It was ruled a safety, not a touchdown, but that's what I expected. And I said, you know what? I'll take a safety. It's not a touchdown, but it's good enough. So then the Saints, on our very next drive, we get some aid from a pass interference, and it was a right call. And also a bit of a help on a couple of bad penalties that the Chiefs took. One was a pass interference, the other was a roughing the passer. And then Brees, he's in the pocket, he's like super nervous on a 2nd and 14, and then he just lobs a pass out for Latavius Murray. He was just like the check down option, and he runs that in for a touchdown. Saints lead, but we fail to get the 2-point conversion. Chiefs, on their very next drive, they go driving down the field, and then they get to a 2nd and goal at the New Orleans 5, and Mahomes just running around and tosses one from McCole Hardman, made an amazing toe tap catch, but it wasn't just a great toe tap catch, it was just an amazing throw also by Patrick Mahomes. Then the Saints, we punt. It was a 3 and out. The Chiefs go on a long drive, but they're not in field goal range, so we make them punt. We go another 3 and out. So we punt again, and then the Chiefs eventually get another touchdown. It was a 12-yard run by Le'Veon Bell. We go on another 3 and out, and I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, we went on so many 3 and outs. Brees is missing passes, but at the same time, his receivers aren't helping him because he's giving them the passes that he's used to giving them, and they just keep dropping them. There was many passes in this game that his receivers could have shot. Brees should not be throwing under 50% completion percentage if his receivers were competent at all. Then the Chiefs on their very next drive, we sack Mahomes. We force the fumble. Then we go on a quick drive as we end it with a 14-yard shovel pass to Alvin Kamara for a touchdown. Chiefs, they go on a long drive. I'm saying we need to get at least a stop. Unfortunately, we had to force it. They kick the field goal. They're up by 10. Then we go on a very quick drive, and it ends with a 17-yard touchdown from Drew Brees to Little Jordan Humphrey. He's a guy we called up from the practice squad. He caught the touchdown. So now we're just needing to get the stop. We kick it to the Chiefs, but fortunately they get 2 first downs, and they end the game. So, yeah, on individual players. All right, so starting out with individual player stats, starting out with the man himself, Drew Brees. So, in his first game back, he had under 50% completion percentage, 234 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 picks. So, is he generally the guy to blame for this loss? He shares a part of the blame, in my opinion. Because, first off, under 50% completion percentage, he was feeling dangerous today. But I can't solely put the blame on him. Yes, he was missing passes, threw a couple of ballsy passes that should have got picked. Fortunately, he only threw 1 pick, but I also blame the receivers many, many times throughout this game because there were so many times on 3rd down, maybe 2nd down, just so many times when we needed a conversion, he would throw to receiver and they would drop the pass. Like, they were good passes that they just kept dropping, and I just didn't understand why. Like, they just kept dropping all these passes. We should have done better. Like, this game should have been closer. That was the main reason there were so many freaking 3-and-outs for the Saints. Because so many times they needed to make a catch, and they didn't. So anyways, on to the rushing game. We barely ran the ball at all. Like, we only ran the ball 17 times. I think if we went to a bit more of a rushing attack, I think we could have had a better chance against the Chiefs. Kamara, he had 11 carries for 54 yards. Taysom Hill was the only one with rushing touchdowns. He had 3 yards on a touchdown. And Latavius Murray only racked up 3 yards. So what was so wrong with using Latavius Murray? Like, the things I blame for this is, of course, Drew Brees trying to prove himself that he is still a viable starter. He is still a viable starter, but I wouldn't have minded if he had just kept to more short passes and checkdowns to Kamara. I also blame, not running the ball enough, and mainly the receivers not catching the ball. Lead receiver was Emmanuel Sanders with 76 yards, followed by Alvin Kamara with 40 yards and a touchdown, then Little Jordan Humphrey with 29 yards and a touchdown. Jared Cook, he also had himself 29 yards. But so many things that you see with these guys is that the receptions and the targets. So Kamara had 3 receptions but 6 targets. Humphrey had 2 receptions, 4 targets. Cook had 2 receptions, 5 targets. So yeah. And there was also a couple of guys that had no receptions and a lot of targets. So that's where really I blame most of the drops on. But anyways, the defense, keeping Patrick Mahomes under to about 250 yards, that's not too bad. But we also let them get quite a bit on the rushing game, whether it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, and Patrick Mahomes allowed 179 rushing yards. Surprisingly, they went with as equal of a rush attack as they did a pass attack, which kind of shocked me, but yeah. Anyways, offense, I'm going to give us a 6 out of 10 for today. Way too many 3-and-outs. Yeah, we did keep it close, but overall that's what I give them. And I'm going to give our defense a 6 out of 10 because, yeah, we were clutch a couple of times, but other than that, we were allowing... Like, our defense was okay. Just okay. But against the Chiefs offense, I'm not expecting our defense to turn to the Steel Curtain or the Purple People Eaters. 2 of the most iconic defensive names of all time. Anyways, on to Patrick Mahomes. He didn't exactly have himself a good game either. He was barely able to get over 50% completion percentage. Threw for 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. So the defense was doing a decent job. Still, we were taking some bad penalties. Lead rusher was Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 79 yards, followed by Le'Veon Bell with 62 and a touchdown. And Patrick Mahomes was always able to find a way to rush it out. Had 37 yards when he was in trouble, but he did what he needed to do. Travis Kelce was the lead receiver with 68 yards and a touchdown, followed by Sammy Watkins with 60 yards. Tyreek Hill had 53 and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. No one else was really that big of a threat. Like, yeah, they had a little bit from Demarcus Robinson and McCole Hardman. But other than that, their defense was decent, forced a lot of 3-and-outs. So Chiefs offense, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10 because I wasn't expecting their rushed game to be so dangerous. Surprisingly, it was. I should have thought about that after we completely blew it against the Eagles. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say. I'll give them a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give their defense also a 7 out of 10. It was a good game that both teams played a solid game, but overall, the Chiefs just played a better game. Now going against Minnesota, I am absolutely terrified because everyone's just going to talk about, the Minneapolis Miracle wild card game against them in 2019. So, yeah. And, of course, if our pass rush is struggling right now against teams that aren't exactly great with the rush, watch us go up against Dalvin Cook. We are screwed. In our secondary, how are we going to do against Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson? That's also another big concern, but you know what? I hope we pull off a Christmas victory. I'm giving us a 6.5 out of 10 for today, and I'm going to give this Chiefs a 7.5 out of 10. So overall, just a lot of things we made a few mistakes. Drew Brees was feeling extremely dangerous. I just want him to be a little bit more smart with the football next game, and I think we could pull off a victory. On to the outro. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to see all my other Saints recaps and all my other prediction videos, links to all that will be in the description below. Make sure you drop a like to this video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what you thought about this Chiefs-Saints game, if you were able to watch the whole game. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, @Souter. Thank you all for watching. Who Dat Nation is